Now, this review is a bit of a long time coming because the Toyota Hilux GR-S has been around for quite some time already, to a point that there are actually different versions of it. Now, this is the latest one, complete with a wider body and whatnot, and we can finally tell you what it's like and if it's more than just a Hilux with a body kit. Now, by now, the shape of the Toyota Hilux should be a familiar sight for everyone because it's been around for 10 years already. But in the case of the GR-S, as I mentioned earlier, it is a much wider body. But that's where it doesn't end because you have these chunkier fender flares and a totally different looking bumper. And this bumper isn't just for aesthetics because it actually has a different approach angle right down here. So if you're gonna go on a trail, you're gonna worry less about snagging this rather long overhang. And as you can see, this trim right here molds into the fender, and it's a pretty big fender flare. It actually extends right near here by the door. Now these tires, well, they're actually smaller than what you'd get in a Conquest. These are 17 inches instead of the usual 18, and there's a reason for that because you can get this thicker sidewall on these Bridgestone all-terrain tires. So this thing has the trail on its mind, like from the get-go already. So this being the sportier model, of course, chrome is pretty much devoid all over the body. So, you're not going to find chrome at the front. That grille is blacked out, the side mirror caps, and even the Hilux font right here on the door. Now, moving a little further back, of course, you still get these chunky fender flares. And if you go down here, you're going to see red dampers. That's because this rides on a different suspension arrangement compared to the Conquest. Now, does it ride better? Well, no, because as we explained earlier, well, it's still a pretty firm ride here in the Hilux. It still rides on leaf springs, unlike its primary competitor, the Ford Ranger Raptor. Now, moving back, if you've noticed, there's no sports bar, which is odd because the Conquest gets one. This one doesn't seem to have it. And of course, here at the back, we'll give you a little fun fact about the Hilux. Now, the Hilux actually has one of the longest beds in its class. It may not look like it, but it's ever so slightly edged out by the Ford Ranger, but this one still has one of the longest beds in its class. So it may be old, but it's still very highly functional. Now here at the back, of course, you lose the chrome bumpers, although these black painted ones, they're still steel. Of course, you got your sensors and whatnot. And let's not forget the GR Sport badge. Now, I've been doing this job for about 10 years now, and actually about the same time as this generation of Hilux came out. And, as time goes on, you'd think that the cabin would age already, but I still think it, still looks pretty decent, still looks pretty modern. And, Toyota made the effort of actually putting some curves and lines here and something as utilitarian as a pickup truck, so props to Toyota for that. And because of that, it hasn't aged, all that much. Now, in terms of materials, of course, it's got just about hard plastics everywhere, but you'd kind of expect that from any utility vehicle, although this one isn't really based for utility. But before I digress, what's the interior like? One thing I noticed was the steering wheel adjuster, and in that it doesn't really adjust so much. I do like the fact that it has both tilt and telescopic, but the telescopic function doesn't really go out so much. So that kind of forces your arms to either be outstretched or your legs to be jammed up against the pedal. So, a bit of a minor thing, but if you're going for long distance comfort, it may be a factor. Now, in terms of ergonomics, absolutely no complaints here. I mean, this is a Japanese vehicle, and every switch, button, dial is basically where you expect them to be. Right, so how does the GR-S differentiate itself from, say, the Conquest or the G or the E? Well, it's pretty simple. Just find all the red highlights in here. You have this leather-wrapped wheel with this red highlight here to show the center of the steering wheel. You have the most faux-looking carbon fiber right here on the dashboard, and you can also see them right here by the door cards. Now, on the seat, you also have deeper buckets of sorts, and it's a combination of suede and leatherette. Now, the seat belts themselves, they're red, and the headrests come with GR badging right up there. Now the seats, well, the bottoms are pretty wide and they're fairly supportive for a pickup, I do have to say, and the same with these deeper buckets. So yes, it's about a decade old now, but it's still not a bad place to be. Yes, the competition has definitely caught up to it in terms of space utilization. But you know what? It may be a familiar face, this interior, but you know, I don't mind spending my time in here at all. Now, these were the front seats covered. Let's go take a look at the back. Now, before I actually hop on board, and I mean literally hop on board, I want to show you a neat little feature that this Hilux has. Now, just about every pickup out there has like an under-seat storage bin, and for the most part, this whole bench flips up. But Toyota, knowing that they need, maybe you'll have to carry a passenger while having something under the seat, well, at least they split it this time around. So simply just pull the tab, and there you go. And you actually have a little pocket down here. In this case, it is a jack underneath. Of course, you also have another bin down there. Now, what I also like about the Hilux is it has a handle to aid ingress and egress. So in case there's anyone with sort of weaker knees, or if you're 30 plus, you're gonna find this feature very handy. So how's the space like here in the Hilux? With my driving position, well, it's okay, but let's say you're about 5'7", 5'8", you are gonna feel it a bit of a pinch back here. The seats, they're a little short, even for my height. As you can see, my knee is well ahead of the edge of the cushion. I like the fact that they finally added rear air conditioning vents. The old pre-facelift Hilux did not come with these. And that just keeps everything cooler here at the back. That was sort of one of the sore points we pointed out in the last time we had a Toyota Hilux test unit. And in case you want to turn this into a family vehicle, it can very much be one because it's got ISOFIX mountings on the outboard side of the back seats. But as we mentioned, like in the front seats, well, the competition is caught on and they're more spacious, there's more legroom, headroom, and shoulder room in the newer pickups. So again, we're hoping that the next generation Hilux will address this. Well, I wouldn't call it a shortcoming, but do hope there's more space in the next gen model. Now, as you can see, we have a bit of a continuity error going on here because, well, we're driving the Hilux on a different day this time around. So of course the question on everyone's mind is, does it ride better than the Conquest? Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, this is still a pretty firm ride, but if you're gonna do it side by side with the Conquest, this rides a fair amount better. Now yes, it's on beefier dampers, shocks, and springs, but because it's still on a live axle and a set of leaf springs at the back, yes, it can be a little bit skittish on the expressway, and that is more evident at sort of lower speeds. So if you think you're getting a Hilux Conquest for a billowy smooth ride, you'll be very much mistaken. Now when it comes to its highway manners, it's actually just like any other Hilux, to be honest. Steering's pretty straight and true, again, right, to touch on the firm side, and you get a fair bit of wind noise coming from those large side mirrors. Other than that, it's pretty much standard Hilux fare. But let's say you go out of the highway and into other streets or whatnot. And I do have to note that the Hilux's steering is on the heavy side, especially this GR-S. Now, it's partly because it's on wider tires and partly because it still uses a hydraulic power steering system. Most of its competitors now use an electronic power assist system. It does have blind spot warning, and surprisingly, it also has adaptive cruise control. So I haven't been able to figure out the distance of the adaptive cruise control system in this one so far. But if anyone knows, please do let me know in the comments, because right now it sort of defaults to its furthest distance, sort of like 3 bars displayed right on the console. Now, would I call the Hilux refined? Well, not with that diesel. Okay, it's actually one of the smoother diesels out there, and granted, in the morning it sounds like a bag of clams have woken up, but doing cruising speeds, it's fairly refined, it's fairly quiet. But compared to, say, something like a Ford Ranger, this is a touch on the slightly noisier side, but compared with the other Japanese peers, well, this is still relatively quiet. Handling-wise, well, it's slightly less grippy compared to the Conquest, but that's mainly down to the tires. So the Hilux GR-S comes with all-terrain tires, whereas the Conquest still comes with highway terrain, but still off-road oriented tires. So that does make a difference, and it's probably also one of the factors why the steering feels so heavy, at least for those who aren't used to non-electric power steering systems. Moving around tight areas with this, is going to be a bit of a workout for those who aren't used to this kind of steering system. Those who are will say that, okay, it is probably a touch on the heavy side, but you know, it's not a total workout or any of that. Of course, that again depends on the person you are asking, but generally the steering on the Hilux is a touch on the heavy side. When it comes to performance, well, that 2.8-liter engine does pull quite a punch. Now, I remembered when this first came out way back in 2015, and it had 177 horsepower, if I recall correctly. And those were mind-blowing numbers at the time because the previous generation Hilux came with like 160 horsepower. So to have 177 and over 400 Newton meters of torque, that was a huge deal 10 years ago. But over the years, and times have changed, and funny enough, this is still the most powerful diesel in its class. Well, specific to the GR-S, that is, because this makes 221 horsepower. 221. That's even more than the Ford Ranger Raptor diesel. You have to specify that because there is a V6 Ranger Raptor. And maybe because of the transmission calibration, it pulls really strong. Like the turbo lag is kept to a relative minimum. And those are some of the things I really do like about the Hilux. Actually, whether it's the GR-S or the standard model, I would say throttle response in a Hilux in general is pretty good. I mean, you just do a quick dab. No hesitation there. You know, that quick pull from like 80 to 100, you know, it does it effortlessly. And that's sort of the advantage of this 6-speed over, let's say, an 8-speed or a 10-speed, because there's fewer gears to sort of knock down. But this is the GR-S we're testing. And it's a total waste if we only drive it on the road. So it's best if we actually went off-road with it. Enter transition. Now, 10 years ago, had Toyota released the GR-S Hilux, we could have given this truck an easy perfect 10. And we don't even mind the compromises that come along with it, because this thing is just really strong. I mean, it is the strongest pickup in its class. However, time has caught up with the Hilux, and some of the competition just does some of the things a lot better. So the highest rating we can give this one would be an 8 out of 10.